The world's highest rated chess player of all time has some pretty crazy memory. Now, I've recently gotten into chess, and I've been playing since this February, and one of the most important things I've learned so far is how important the skills of calculation and the ability to remember positions on the board are to the game. And recently, while doing some research, I came across a video with the world's top-rated player, Magnus Carlsen, who has basically shown multiple different historical chess positions from famous games to see if he was able to identify them. And how Magnus performed is absolutely crazy. Okay, check this out. So, the first position Magnus was challenged to identify was from a game played in 1960 by Mikhail Tal and Mikhail Botvinnik. And apologies on any pronunciations, I will do my best with my very American accent. Alright, so yeah, the first game was from 1960, so keep in mind that this is literally from over 63 years ago. Like, let that sink in for a second. Like, I can barely remember what I did yesterday, like what I had for breakfast. So, on top of that, Magnus got this one right. And on top of that, Magnus remembered the next moves. So, like, he was able to guess what the position was, like, who played the game, and he was able to remember the preceding moves of the game. So, that's just awesome. He also was able to point out that Tal won the game. The second position he was shown was from the 1987 World Championship. Garry Kasparov beat Anatoly Karpov in Siberia. I know the V is a B and the L is a Y, I believe in Spanish, but Seville, we'll stick with the English pronunciation. Seville, Spain. I believe these two players were the top two ranked at that time. This is from game 24 of the championships. I believe Kasparov won this match. I know he won the championships, and he won this to retain his title by using the English opening, I believe. It's very, I believe, I'm not super familiar with that opening. My ELO rating is like 800, so I'm still just kind of getting into chess. But, so in case you don't know what ELO is, ELO, or the rating, that's your chess rating. So it's kind of like a system of your skill level at the game. So it's a scale of like 100 to 2882 is the highest Magnus Carlsen ever reached. He's the highest rated player of all time. So back to the position. Yes, this is from the final game of the championship. Magnus guessed this one correctly. He guessed it correctly as David Howell, the Grandmaster. I believe he's British. He was setting out the position, and Magnus guessed this one like before it was even set out. The next position is from a blitz game in 1994, Viswanathan Anand v. Vasily Ivanchuk. Magnus guesses this one correctly in a few seconds, of course. He also points out that it was a mismate in one, and the next move of the game too. And he also remembered the tournament, or more of like the groups of tournaments that the game was from. So pretty awesome. The fourth position is from the Biel tournament in Switzerland in 1988, Alonso Zapata versus Viswanathan Anand. Now, for this one, Magnus was challenged to watch the opening play out and then guess who was playing with the black pieces as soon as he knew the answer. So the game gets played out, and I'm actually going to jump over to Lichess, the analysis board, and actually show you this here. So the moves here, e4, e5, knight f3, knight f6. So this is the Petrof defense, I believe. Yeah, Petrof Russian game. So 2 moves into the game, 2 moves, Magnus Carlsen guessed this correctly, as Viswanathan Anand, or Anand, who's playing with the black pieces. So, yeah, so my thought here is somehow either, so like, if we just look at the database, like Masters database, so over where my mouse is over here, I mean, that's like practically 28,000 games, 27,770, that's how many games of like titled players, at least on Lichess, I believe, that have played this opening. So like, how is Magnus able to guess that it was him? My thought is David Howell probably made it either somehow obvious, maybe how he set the pieces out. Another thing, I'm not familiar with Anand too much. Maybe he plays this opening often. Those are just some ideas. The next position is from the World Youth Championship in Greece in 2002. A game between David Howell and Magnus Carlsen himself. So Magnus gets it like right away, of course, and they both laugh at it. They think it's funny. Magnus actually remembered details from this specific tournament that they were playing in. Specifically, that they were bad memories for him. Something about, I believe, David Howell like beat Magnus, and then he got like 3rd place or something, and Magnus was just kind of a bummer kind of tournament. So not great memories for him here. But awesome, he was able to remember details from the tournament. Like, that kind of memory is just awesome. The final position, the final game Magnus was shown, wasn't from a real game. Now, it was actually from Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, from the first movie, I believe, released in 2001. I have to be honest with you, I have not seen this movie. I'm very, very sorry. I'll watch it sometime. I have friends that, I know think it's sad that I haven't seen it, but I'll check it out sometime. Yeah, this wasn't from a real game. Magnus thought for a while. Eventually, he asked for a hint after about 10 or 15 seconds. The hint he received was that it was from the entertainment industry. He did guess that it was from like one of his bullet games played long ago, because the position was down a queen for Harry, I believe. After this hint, Magnus got it like pretty much right away. So this is not something that Magnus probably would have came across in his professional studies. So just like the fact that he was able to recognize the chess position just to me shows that like maybe he can just like look at a chessboard and just like remember the position, or just like he can just like memorize chessboards like on the spot. I know a lot of like grandmasters and good players are very good at like being able to like they can stare at like a chess puzzle, like a random position that you have to solve either for a checkmate or just to be in a better position than you were before, and they can like look at the board for a split second and then not look at the board, and then in like 10 seconds come up with the answer to like really high rated puzzles. But yeah, this crazy kind of memory for a human brain really just shows how amazing the design of the human brain is to me. Like, that is just awesome. Now, it's estimated that Magnus Carlsen has over 10,000 games memorized. I believe he said this himself, and through some of my research, that is the number that came up. So that's equivalent to over like 200,000 opening moves, which is just absolutely nuts. Like, that's a lot of moves. I got like 3 openings down, and I like playing London system specifically. If you're not familiar with that is, it's more of like a system of moves, so you don't have to memorize like lines. It's just kind of like 7 or 8, maybe 9 moves that you just kind of, you still don't like blurt them out in the game. You still have to look at what position you're in and what your opponent is playing too. But if you don't know what it is and you're interested in chess, definitely I'd consider YouTubing some London system tutorials. It's super interesting. And that's what kind of got me into the game too, along with some friends. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.